I think that when I was drafted, I was really too young. I didn't want to come directly, and anyway, the coach didn't want me directly in the team. So that was a good thing because I knew that the WNBA is the best league. So I knew that I still gotta work. And yeah, I've been playing overseas. I've been playing with the national team, so I got some experience. And I think that now it's time to come and to see what I can do. Also, the team is different now. The coach really likes me, I think, and that was a good thing for me. I always want a good relationship with the coach, and yeah, I think that was also a good point. Just I know the coach because of Emma Messman and Kim Mesdak because they were on her team. I mean, she was with the DC last season, so that's why that was also a good point. And so yeah, I think now it's time to come. I got the chance, so it was a dream for me in the beginning, and I think that now it's my time, and I just don't want I think I would regret if I didn't come this season, even if it's a weird season, like everything is particular this season, but I don't care. I just want to play, and I'm so excited to be here and to get started.
Thank you.
Owen Pence. Owen, anything for Julie?
Yeah, hi, Julie. Thank you for taking the time. I'm just curious what your reaction was when you saw the schedule and saw that Washington was first up and that you're going to be playing against Emma right off the bat.
I'm so happy because, especially because we play at 5 p.m. So it's only at 11 p.m. In Belgium. So I know that everybody is really excited about this game, and it's just so good as the first game, just to start and play against Emma. I'm so excited, and yeah, really excited. And I know that Belgium will be behind us and will be cheering for both of us. And yeah, just to start like this, it's the perfect start.
Thank you.
Dorothy Gentry. Dorothy.
Thank you. Morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Hi. Okay, can you talk a little bit about how you have worked on your guard skills, being able to kind of create for yourself and create for your teammates, and how you think your time overseas has helped with your point guard skills?
I think that just to play EuroLeague, to play EuroCup, to play in the French league, it's a really good level. Because when I was playing in Belgium, the level is not that good. So I really want to play overseas to get used to play against great players. And that's how you get better, and just by working every day and go hard every day. I know that I'm a hard worker. I know that I like to work. And if I keep pushing like this, I know that every day I will get better. And so that's how you get better.
Thank you.
Anything else, or anybody have any other questions for Julie? Michelle, go ahead.
Hey, Julie, this is Michelle again. I guess two things. Can you tell us what the excitement level for the WNBA has been like in Belgium over the past couple of years, and especially last year with two Belgian women winning a WNBA championship? And then also, did you have any concerns about coming here because of the coronavirus situation, or did you feel pretty confident about that?
So first, in Belgium, for Belgium, it's a dream, the WNBA, because we're a small country, and playing in the USA, it's so amazing for us. So everybody last season with DC, that was just unbelievable, and we were so happy and so proud of Emma and Kim. So now, as I'm also a new player coming to the league, a Belgian player, they're really excited about this, and so we can feel the support that maybe 4 years ago, if a player went to the W, it won't be the same. Like now, we can feel our country behind us, so that's a good point. And about the situation, yeah, I feel comfortable because, I mean, here we good. I feel secure, and I mean, it's not that I don't care, because the situation is not, it's serious, and we have to take care about us. And but I think that we good here, and I just want to play now, because it's been 4 months without playing games, and I miss it. So I just want to play, and yeah, I don't feel uncomfortable being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dorothy, you have something else for Julie? Just see your hand raised. No?
I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties over here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Dorothy.
Apologize. Okay, Julie?
Yeah.
Hi, okay, hi. Thanks again for talking with us. Can you talk a little bit about how you're dealing with being there in the bubble, coming from Belgium, and then having to, I guess, just come over here and get your mind wrapped around playing a shortened season, being new to the team, meeting your new teammates, trying to bond. It's like a lot of things going on. How are you dealing with everything, and how are you staying focused, motivated, and positive during this time and getting ready for the start of the season?
To be honest, it was really difficult, because when I got back to Indianapolis, I had to stay in quarantine, and we had to, I couldn't see anybody. Like, I had to go to practice by my own, to do individual workouts, but I couldn't see my teammates and the team, so that was tough. And then when I arrived here, it was the same. So I was all the time in my room, and has been 22 days. 22 days, that's really a lot. Just being able to be on your room, and that's it, So that was tough and hard mentally. Some days I was crying, because, so with the time difference with my family and my friends, everything is new. So I needed to get used, but now I feel so happy to be back on the court and to get to know my teammates, and to just spend some time with them too. It's really important to get ready. And so I just know that I have the chance to be here, so that's why I keep my mind like really positive, and I didn't want to be I just want to stay focused, and that's how I do. And because I know that that's a chance to be here, so just stay positive. And now as we can go on the court, everything is different. Like we feel really good. And I feel really good, and I just want to keep practicing and keep getting better every day, and just get started. I just want to play.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, thank you, Julie. I think that would be all for you today. And then we have Natalie Achonwa as well. It's on the call. Natalie, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, everyone. Good morning.
All right, wonderful. We'll open up the questions here for Natalie. So same thing, if you'd like to raise your hand or drop a note in the chat, and we'll get started with questions for Natalie. Let's see here. Dorothy, you want to start?
Natalie, hi. Thanks so much for your time. Take us through these past 4 months for you personally, in terms of just everything, the quarantine, the pandemic, then we had the racial unrest and the Black Lives Matter. Now we have the bubble and getting ready for a shortened season. It's been a lot. Talk about how you've handled and dealt with all of these things these past 4 months.
It definitely has been a lot, the ups and downs, and a whirlwind of emotions. Something that I frequently talk about is a big piece is the mental health of all of it, is making sure that I'm taking care of myself first and foremost. And that's as an individual, as a person, as a human being, as a sister, as a daughter. Before I get to a basketball player, I list off 100 things. So for me, it's been in times of having to take a break from playing basketball, from working out, to make sure that I, as a person, am okay. It's been relying on my family, my friends, to really help me and support me during this time. And it's taking advantage of the opportunity. I think being in quarantine specifically and having that time to rest my body. I've also been very active with my voice, whether that is from a more light standpoint in the Nat chat I did with the Indiana Fever, or if that's using my platform to speak out on racial injustice that's going on, that has been going on in the US, in Canada, and globally. So it's been a lot, but I'm really grateful for the opportunity to get back to some basketball, because it does give an even tempo, an even beat to your heart, because it's something that's just ingrained and something that I've done for so long that I don't have to think about it. So it's been a great release to get back on the court and to be with my Indiana Fever family.
Thank you.
Pat Boylan.
Yeah, Nat, kind of along those lines, I know a lot of players look up to you, and I know you kind of relish that leadership role. I'm wondering if your leadership style, if you notice it's changing at all in this current climate, because the bubble is so unique and there are so many other aspects besides basketball that you all are trying to get adjusted to.
We actually did a little color test with our team the other day that I had done previously in college, where it kind of gives you another look at perspective to personality types. And if you look it up, I'm gold, which is very structured, very planny. I like things to go the way they're supposed to go. I like to follow rules. But I think one thing that it might not have shown up on the color test, but in real life, it's been a lot of my blue personality, which is relatable, it's emotional, it is connecting with people. I think I tend to get so caught up in the way things are supposed to go that I sometimes lose my connection to people. And I think having this experience of the bubble, having this experience of a pandemic has really increased my need and value of relationships, whether that's my friends or my family, and making sure that I be vulnerable with more people. And to show the strength and vulnerability has been big for me, and letting more people in, and making more connections with people. So it's been new for me, but it's definitely been something that I've enjoyed, to kind of get to know people on a deeper level.
Natalie is a gold personality. I apologize for having the press conference here a little off schedule, so I apologize for that.
Something I've learned with all of this is that happens. It happens. At the end of the day, I think that you got to go with the flow, and you got to know that it's not always going to go the way it's supposed to go, and how you adapt to that speaks more about you than anything else.
All right, I appreciate that. Michelle Vopel.
Yeah, Natalie, now I think I totally understand why Coach McGraw talked about how much she missed you, because your gold personality, what must have been a perfect fit for her. So she mentioned that many times. She missed having you in practice. I wanted to ask you about the continuity of this Fever team, because you guys do bring a lot of people back. Victoria comes back. You have a couple of rookies and Julie, but there's a lot of the main folks that are back. How big of an advantage do you think that is, that you guys can build on so much of the familiarity and the chemistry of last year?
I think you touched on it exactly. It helps with the chemistry of the team, and the fact that we knew each other. Even coming into a regular season, that's a big piece of it, is trying to get to know each other, trying to, and that's on and off the court, how each other thinks, how each other reacts. And add a pandemic, and add when we didn't have a traditional training camp, add us coming late into this, it creates a lot more uneasiness. But like you said, having that familiarity with each other and knowing that we played together has made it that much easier. We're about to go into day 3 of practice, and I don't think you would be able to tell in terms of how we bounce each other off each other, how we play with each other. We're still working, of course, on the fine details and trying to implement Coach Stanley's offense, defense, and everything like that. And that's not there yet. Don't worry, we'll get there. But I think the chemistry aspect and the fact that we have fun with each other and that we are competitive with each other, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's only day 3 for us.
Thank you.
Ethan Sears.
Natalie, I think the other day, Tamika Catchings mentioned that you've taken a leading voice in terms of social and racial injustice. I guess I'm just kind of curious, how you've been able to do that within the team, and how maybe it's changed now that you're all together and kind of have games on the horizon.
So kind of have three things going on, and I'm sorry, I'm going to give you like a half little in between because I don't want to put it all out there because it's still being ironed out, it's still being processed, but keep an eye on the fever. We have 2 team initiatives that will be coming out, and you can get with our media team for when that will be released, but Candace and I have taken the lead on getting these initiatives together for our team, because a big thing is when we release that video, we will no longer be silent earlier this spring. It was important for us as a team to be united in what we do. So it's been conversations stemmed from maybe my passion about everything that's going on, and also with Candace's wisdom and in her years that she's been involved in the league and how to make this all make sense. Coupling those 2 things together, we've been able to kind of spearhead it for our team. But I will for sure say that it is something that as an entire group we are passionate about, something that we find very important. And as an individual, as me, I always take every opportunity and advantage of this platform that I'm given and that I'm blessed to have, to make sure that I give back, to make sure that it doesn't stop with just me, that all the opportunities that I am given that I'm able to pass on to my community, and that's whether that's Indiana, Canada, anywhere. So we do have things coming out. I also have an individual one that's coming out next week. So pending, I'm sorry, it's coming though.
We'll get that out as soon as possible next week, Natalie. Let's see, Christina Williams.
Hey. So earlier this week, your former Notre Dame teammate, Skylar Diggins, she said she was speaking about how tough it was to be a Black woman in America. As someone who comes from a mixed background, what has your experience been like?
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough, and something that I've always explained, especially growing up as a biracial woman. I went through a lot of time in individual turmoil of not being white enough for my white side and not being Black enough for my Black side. And that created a lot of individual identity crisis. And where I went from that in kind of deciding who I wanted to be and not letting society decide that for me is standing in who I am. And that's a strong, courageous, powerful, impactful Black woman. And as positive and as tall I can stand, it's seen as a double negative in society. A double negative as you're discriminated on because you're Black and prejudiced against because you're a woman. And that does make it difficult, not only in opportunity, but in my own mental space, my own mental health, my own, like I said, identity crisis. But at the same time, with everything that's kind of going on in having another identity search, it's given me a new motivation, a new, I think, encouragement. And before I used to have to like force myself to stand tall and like, this is who you are. And with all that's kind of thrown against me and against Black people in general in North America, I'm not going to take out Canada in that when I speak, although I live in the US and I'm a citizen of the US. So I'm not a citizen, sorry. Rewind that. I'm a resident of the US. I feel that it empowers me to know that I can do all that I have, that I can be where I am with all that's kind of pitted against me. So I can only speak for myself, of course. Everyone has their own battles, but I think that having a platform like the WNBA, being part of a league and being part of a group of women that are so powerful, gives me the extra confidence to keep my head high.
Thank you, Christina. Paul, sir.
Natalie, what is you've touched on several times about the Canadian connection and the issues that you're passionate about and that affect you in your life, affect you both in Canada and the US. Do you feel a special sense of responsibility because of being in both countries?
Yes, I do. I am always and will always be a proud Canadian first and foremost, but I have lived my adult life in the US, so I feel that I have ties to both communities. And I also continually say that you cannot make change if you don't start within your own home. And I have homes in both countries. So I think it's important to me as a Black Canadian and a Black woman that lives in the US to use my voice, my platform in any avenue, in anywhere that I see or feel that it's beneficial.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Natalie. I think that'll be it for you today. Thank you again. Coach Stanley, Coach, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Awesome. Coach, would you like to start?
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
No, I wanted to thank all the media for being here and apologize for the little bit of a late start for me. Just trying to get ready for practice today. So appreciate your patience with that.
Okay. With that, we'll go right to Dorothy Gentry. Dorothy.
Morning, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Can you tell me, I have two questions actually. Do you have a theme or a focus for the team for this season? Something that you guys are focusing on or you want to focus on the court for this season? And then two, what does Julie bring to the team?
Okay. First part of your first question. Yeah, we want to establish a culture of winning and to establish a culture of players playing hard and playing together. We never want to leave the floor without giving the impression that we've left it all out on the floor and we've played together as a team. And we have a relatively young group sprinkled in with some really good veterans like Natalie and Candace and Tiffany and E-Dub. So I think we've got a good bit of veteran leadership there, as well as a lot of youthfulness. So developing players and helping them reach their potential and helping them to grow in their game is also part of the mission this season. So, our youthfulness will not be an excuse for anything, but we want it to be, an exciting part of how we grow and how we develop from start to finish. I would suspect that you will see us improve each time we go out there. And that's part of what I'm expecting. And that's also what good teams do, what championship teams do. They don't rest on their laurels. They don't get settled and complacent about where they are. They're always striving to be better. So we're going to do that as a team that's trying to establish that culture that I mentioned, and also as a team that recognizes we've got a lot of young people who have a big upside and have tremendous opportunity for growth. So we're going to try to be on two parallel tracks at the same time here to make our team better every time we go out there. As far as Julie, I'm so impressed by Julie. I think, when you talked with her this morning, you could see the invaluable parts of her personality. She just can handle a lot. I mean, it was not easy for her to come to Indianapolis to quarantine for as long as she had to quarantine. I mean, that takes a very, very strong individual to leave home, to go to a foreign country, and to be in those circumstances for that long. I mean, she's just a gem. Couldn't be happier with her. And as she told me the other day, when I approached her and was talking about the game, and she just looked me in the eye and said, "Coach, I'm a professional." And, in a succinct manner of saying it, that's exactly what she is. Even though this is her first year in the WNBA, she has a vast and extensive amount of international experience. She's still relatively young, but she has a tremendous body of work under her belt that will be invaluable to us as a team. And she came in great shape. I mean, she couldn't have prepared herself better for these circumstances. And quite honestly, thank goodness that she did prepare that way, because she's handled a very, very difficult and unusual circumstance as a true professional would. And I'm very, very happy with Julie.
Thank you.
Yeah, just throw one other thing. And Natalie mentioned, you wouldn't know from watching us that this was the first time we played together. Part of that is that without E-Dub, and we surely miss Erica Wheeler, no doubt, but without her, both Julie Allemand and Kathleen Doyle acquitted themselves extremely well in practice, because you wouldn't know that they hadn't played with their teammates before. They both understand how to lead a team. And in Julie's case in particular, that body of work that she's got, that experience that she got, lends itself well to this situation, because you would look at us and think that, she and the group that she was with had been playing together for a long time. That's somebody who understands how to play the game, and that's somebody who trusts and relies on their experience to guide them into new circumstances. So I was very happy with Julie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dorothy. Michelle Vopel.
Yeah, good morning, Coach. I have one question, and then if I can follow up with a quick one after that. First, nobody there has more of a history in women's basketball than you do, being in on the ground floor of really establishing modern women's college basketball, going back to the Immaculata days. What does it mean to you to be still part of the game when this whole social justice movement is such a big part of the WNBA? Because you knew what women's basketball was fighting for 40 plus years ago, and now you're part of this. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's a great question, and it's really, really important to me, Michelle. Thank you for asking the question. I mean, my love of the game started as like a 6-year-old when I went across the street to the playground and outside of Philly and first shot a ball. And so that's been 60 years ago, long time. And I came through the parochial school system, as a young kid coming up. I played with boys most of my childhood years, and then was fortunate enough to be in a place where they valued girls basketball, and played in college and high school and college, and then on into my early coaching career when I was in my 20s at Old Dominion, seeing that the promise of Title IX was actually implemented so that future generations of players could be the beneficiaries of all that hard work to ensure that women and girls had opportunity. And so there have been tremendous changes since when I first played and when I first started coaching. And the fact that we're now in an era where both women continuing to be valued and appreciated for their abilities and their talents, recognized for their athleticism and their abilities in the arena of sports, as equally valuable and equally important as young men is really, really important. And the fact that I'm still doing what I love to do and impacting lives as a coach is really, really important to me. I think from the racial justice side and just, where our society is right now, I think we all can recognize that for far too long, for decades and decades, we've not attended to the inequities that clearly were obvious and clearly everybody understood. But it's like, I think they're just saying something, there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. I mean, unfortunately, we've allowed this to the inequities to stand for far too long, but we are in a time where they stand no longer. People are not going to tolerate the fact that people are treated differently. And I'm excited that through sports, we can have a platform to show one of the ways in which things must change, and that inequities can no longer stand, and we're not going to tolerate it. So I like the fact that as an educator, a teacher, and a professional, I get to work with young women who aspire to use their platform to pass the baton and let them run with it, to ensure that things change and that our society ends up on the other side in a much better place than where we started before all this upheaval. And, change doesn't come easily, nor does it come without resistance. but historically, when you're on the right side of history, things will work out. And I'm thrilled that the young people in America, and particularly the young women with whom I'm engaged each and every day, are so passionate about seeing that we end up with a better society for the next generation. It's really, really important. So I'm loving the fact that, you know, something that's important to me, women's rights, women's sports, is being utilized in this way to also help society be better in general. You know, I've lived my life through sports and hope to impact young women, and I still get to do that each and every day, and I couldn't be more fortunate.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Just wanted to ask, how much is your coaching style? And I guess, I mean, you've coached so many different types of athletes. You could coach anybody. But how much did your style sort of fit with this group that the Fever had? You guys have a lot of people back from last year when, you know, they started to come together, I feel like, as a team. And how quickly do you feel like your style can be picked up by this particular group successfully?
Well, in a normal year, I would have felt even better about it. I do feel good about it. I like the idea. I'm a person who loves practice because I think practice is your laboratory where you get better and you get to try things, and then you take it out onto the court and you know, just go for it each and every time. So I like to have a group that is hungry to learn and hungry to get better. And we have, like I said earlier, a number of people that still have growth in them, that still have opportunity to learn more and add more to what they already do. And I so appreciate our veterans who are the glue that keeps everything together. I mean, that's been evident in the last couple of days in practice. You know, Natalie is just wonderful because she's smart, she's dedicated, she understands. All of our players see her and Candace in particular as resources. If they don't know the answer, ask one of the two of our veterans, you know, they're here that, you know, just do things the right way and care enough and will share of their experience. So this is a group that I really was excited to get on the floor with because I'm a collaborative type person and coach. And so I want input from my vets. You know, this is not a dictatorship where I'm telling you exactly what to do. I want you to think, and I want you to be passionate enough to care and to utilize your experience. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of experience that Candace Dupree can lend to everybody, but particularly all of our post players. Same thing with Natalie. So I look at it as collaborative. It's right up my alley, and you know, I'm excited about it.
Thank you,
Michelle. Just for timing's sake, we have time for one more. Owen Pence.
Hey, Coach. I'm just curious, speaking of practice, how much you like practice. If you could just talk to the reality, this odd reality of only having 10 days to do it. I mean, it seems like pretty unrealistic, but how are you managing that?
Well, it's difficult, but you know, everybody has responded pretty well. I mean, we've had to fast track some things that normally we would spend some more time on, but that also tells me that, you know, where we start day one is not where will we end up, you know, in 10 days or 20 days or 30 days. You know, we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep getting better. And although, you know, we haven't been able to have the lead up that we would like, you know, we are where we are, and we're just going to keep getting better every time we hit the practice court. So, you know, we're trying to, you know, get things in quickly. You know, I'm trying to be very much aware of the toll on people's bodies because we've had to do some 2-a-days. We've adjusted the times. We're doing recovery work. We're trying to be very cognizant of not taxing the players too much, but it's been a lot. I mean, there's been a lot asked of them. I'm very happy with how they've been engaged and responsive to everything. And like I said, my nature is to be collaborative. So I'm listening, you know, I hear my players when they speak, you know, I know that they're hearing me, and we're working together to every time we get on the court that we're better than we were the last time out. And as long as we do that, then we're going to end up where we want to be in a couple of weeks and then, you know, a couple of months.